Councilman Ulrich, you're next.
Thank you, and I don't know if we're going in alphabetical order today or we're just saving the best for last. I don't know, but we still... Anyway, it's good to be here, and I know we have a very exciting presentation for all of you, but I want to let you know how proud I am to bring participatory budgeting to the Woodhaven community, to Community Board 9 in the areas that I represent in Community Board 9. I was the first member of the City Council to institute participatory budget in my district from Queens. I was one of the original 4 in New York City that decided to do it. And we started it in Rockaway, and it was tremendously successful. And I knew from that moment on that I wanted to expand it to other parts of my district. I believe that Woodhaven is a very strong community, that it is ripe for what we call PB. Woodhaven will be what I call a laboratory for democracy. Basically, what we're doing is, instead of me making the decisions on my own about how to spend your money, because it's the taxpayers' money, I said, let's get people more involved, give them a seat at the table, let them offer up ideas for proposals or for projects. Let's actually put it on a ballot and give people the right to vote on it. Because at the end of the day, it's not the city's money. It's not my money, certainly. It's your money. It's the taxpayers' money. And you deserve a greater role in determining how that money is being spent. That's the basic concept of participatory budgeting. You learn a lot about the city budget. You learn about projects that were funded in the past. You learn about things that we can and cannot do by law, for instance. Very informative, but certainly, I think, very engaging. The time that you spend at today's meeting and any other public assembly regarding participatory budgeting will not be time ill spent. The vote that you cast in prioritizing which projects you want to see to improve your community here in Woodhaven, those decisions that you make have a real effect because there's a dollar amount behind it. So we say $1 million, it could actually be more depending on how much money our district receives this year. But we set that as the minimum to say, here's $1 million at the least, and you tell us how you want to see it spent in your community. In the past 3 or 4 years, or 4.5 years now actually, I've made those decisions on my own. We built a skate park at 88th Street and Atlantic Avenue. The borough president put $1 million in. I put $700,000 in. The city council, through Councilwoman Crowley and the borough president, I know, has funded extensive renovations at Woodhaven Library, for instance, and I've been at some of those ribbon cuttings, and we're very grateful for that support. I have put, hundreds, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in updating classroom technology in every single school in my district, PS 97, PS 65, now that I have schools in part of Richmond Hill, and this side of Woodhaven, the school around the corner, we gave them a $100,000 grant each. We try to make that equitable. I've made those decisions based upon what I think is right and what I've wanted to do and what I've wanted to see in the community. But you may have ideas, or you may have priorities that are not mine, and I want to know what they are so that we can include them in a budget. That's the basic concept here. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. We're really excited about it. By the way, since we started it 3 years ago, it has grown to how many members now? 12. So there are 12 members of the City Council, several more from Queens, who I think at first were maybe a little hesitant to do it or didn't quite understand what it was about. Now they're also on board doing participatory budgeting. Nothing bad can ever come of this, and I really, really am excited that we're going to start it here in Woodhaven, a little part of Ozone Park and Richmond Hill. I know that Maria, at a previous meeting, had offered up the idea of putting brand new LED lights on Jamaica Avenue, updating the lighting to improve safety and the aesthetic look of the main commercial corridor here. That's an excellent idea. That is not something that DOT would have come to me with and said, here's the list of projects that we want you to fund in their districts. But now, by putting it on the ballot, by putting it up for a vote, I'm sure that it will receive wide community support. We will put that money in the budget, and DOT will upgrade the lighting if it is in fact funded in its entirety. So that's an example of just an average person or community activist saying, hey, I want to see this in my neighborhood. I know it may not be a top priority for the city because they've got other things that they're funding, but it's really important to me, and I think it would be beneficial to me and my neighbors. And it can happen. And hopefully hopefully it will happen. So you'll learn a lot about what can and cannot be funded. Like I said, I can't build a statue of somebody and stick it on Woodhaven Boulevard. There's a lot of things that there's a lot. I mean, we get a lot of good ideas. Sometimes we get a lot of crazy ideas too. But you'll learn the difference between the expense part of the budget, the capital part of the budget, and I can tell you that you will see tangible results. You'll be very satisfied with it, and I expect this to grow to other districts and to other neighborhoods throughout the city. And hopefully, one day we will have a city that is really inclusive and engages constituents and gets people on board and involved in deciding how their money is being spent. And lastly, because I know we have this presentation, I want to congratulate Martin. Ed left some very big shoes to fill. I'm not sure what your shoe size is, but Ed left some really big shoes to fill, and he and Alex and Maria and Arlene and all the members of the board, past and present, have really built up this block association. I know that sometimes these groups ebb and flow in terms of membership and attendance, but we really have been, at a high point and a peak, and he has set the bar so high through everything that he's done fighting for this community. I think that he's breathed new life into Woodhaven, and you are inheriting that, and I know that you're going to do a great job, and I'm going to be here to help you with that. So congratulations and thank you.